there. I only wish Eleanor was speaking after me, because I promise you by the time I'm finished, you will be thoroughly, thoroughly depressed. For those of you who have never heard of Pieta House, very briefly, this is a service, a free service that offers one-to-one, face-to-face counselling for people who have attempted suicide, survived, but may go ahead and try to take their life again, those who have a very strong urge to take their life, and of course people who, and in particular children, who self-harm. But one of the questions I'm always asked is, why did I call it Pieta? And is the image up there? It is. So for those of you who can't see that image up there, you probably know what it is. It is Mary, the Mother of God, who's holding the dead body of her son, who's just taken down from the cross. And what is extraordinary about Pieta is that, you know, when a service is created and developed, you often think about what is required and what is needed and what the people need. And when you do all that bit, you then go and name it. But with Pieta, Pieta was named first. There was no service, just the name Pieta. And how it came about was I experienced the loss of a loved one in my own family. And I remember during the grieving process, I was given a book called Your Sorrow is My Sorrow. And what it was a book, a very small book about Mary, the Mother of God, who had gone through 4 or 5 difficult times in her life. And this was describing a woman, a wife, and a mother. And each story was accompanied by a very beautiful visual image which would describe the story in that picture. So when you see the image of the Pieta, it tells its own story. I'm sure that image resonates throughout Ireland to all the women, the mothers who've lost their sons. But it wasn't even that grabbed me. It was the story of Michelangelo, the guy, the most amazing genius who created the sculpture. He was only 24 at the time, and he carved this sculpture out of one big block of marble. But his geniusness was also in the fact that every piece of art he created had meaning, was symbolic. And this piece of art was no different. Because he created this based on 2 people 2,000 years ago. And Mary was a woman of 2,000 years ago, but women those days were only little titches, only tiny little things. They were less than 5 foot. Whereas her son was 6 foot tall, and it was recorded he was 6 foot tall, he was 33 years of age, big strap of a lad, right at the peak of his adulthood. And yet, if you look at the image, Mary is in fact bigger than he is. Look how deep her lap is and how broad her shoulders are. She's actually holding him exactly the same way she held him when he was an infant. And here this woman is holding the dead, broken body of her son, and yet look at her face. Her face is of a young woman, but she has the most majestic acceptance of her son's death. And it was a light bulb moment when I thought, we need a living Pieta in every community in Ireland. So the name and the image came first, and the service followed. We're now 9 years old. We have 9 centres across the country. We've seen children as young as 6 years of age to people in their 80s. This year, we will have seen over 5,000 people. And this leads me on to another, the cart before the horse bit. Again, the name of darkness into light. And I heard Kathy mention those words several times this evening. And for those of you who don't know what darkness into light is, it's a 5K walk that takes part at 4 o'clock in the morning. And as people are crossing over the finish line, the dawn is breaking. But again, the miraculous symbolism here. We just wanted a walk. We wanted to do something to raise funds for Pieta House. And to be different, we had it at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that very first year, 400 people turned up at the Phoenix Park. This year, 80,000 people walked across our country. And what Darkest into Light has done is not just a fundraiser or creating awareness. It has majestically created social change. Because those 80,000 people, there are so many children. And can you imagine the conversation at 4 o'clock in the morning when the child says, "Mommy, where are we going?" So the dialogue has started. And that child will never be afraid to talk about suicide. And unlike my generation, will never be afraid to ask for help. I hated being Paddy last year, by the way, because I'm listening to all the inspiring people here, and it made me realize a couple of things. One, that we're all very vulnerable, we're all human, but there's hope for all of us. And I'm going to speak on their behalf. Most of us here have had an idea, but it takes people like you to make it happen. Thank you.